rhomboid table, not round or square or triangle. We come to hang, traffic and gang on Fridays as we're able. We play well here in Camelot, we are chums and fun, but Camelot. We're hanging the rhomboid table, our host is formidable. He runs his train, loves insane, but sure he's quite unstable. He's automatic in Camelot, but seems never to have done a lot. Label, quite incomprehensible. Too wrenching and we have no plan but to sit and hear Dutch babble. It's a lazy time in Camelot.
I have to shake my bum a lot.
This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Check any railway show, check any railway club, check any layout, check your own house. You'll find one of us somewhere. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The topic, language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter is not appropriate for anyone, much less children under the age of 16. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. Any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the 3 rules for model train layouts and pretty much anything. It's your layout, do what you want as you want. Do not tell someone else what to do unless they ask you directly what they should do. Do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel or anyone else's channel. Thank you for your cooperation.
See it, you'll love it, and it's all done in the best possible way.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome to the Great Hall for the Knights of the Rhomboid Table. Have a seat, there's plenty of room around. I have not seen Mick the barkeep yet, so hopefully we'll get the bar open soon. If not, somebody will have to step in and do so. I hope you're all well on this side of the screen, and on that side of the screen, I should say. Let's go straight into greeting who's here. There's a couple of names I saw earlier that are not on my list now, but I caught them. So, bonsoir, Titiari. And hello in the background to mom and son railway fans. Hope Tammy and Ray are okay. So on my list today, we've got Sir Tim of Dowd, our CEO. We have Sir Lee of Anfield and Loft. We have got Sir Christoph from the Isle of Man. Sir Aaronville just popped in. Sir Greg of Great Northern is here. Sir Hi from H&H Express. We've got Sir Andy, the hot dog pilot. We've got Sir Ifo Fanzon, the royal alchemist. We have Sir Jean of Ricard, the court jester. We have Sir Jeff from Jeff's N Scale Model Railways and stuff. We've got Sir Dino of the Model Railway Shed. We've got Sir Clive of Newland Railway. Saw your video today trying to get your shed up and rain not cooperating. We've got Sir Randall of Ellison. And somebody else just, oh, Sir Chuck of Schreiber just came in. We've got Sir Randall Ellison. We've got Sir Ray of Bobel. We've got Sir Ray Ron is here. We've got KJ from KJ. We've got Sir Paul and Dame Paris from Smallwood Junction. Long time that we've seen you on the chat here. Thank you for stopping by. It's wonderful to see you, although Joyce and I are feeling a little left out that everybody got those little HO or 00 prints of you guys. They would be awesome on our layout, so I'll have to find a way to get them. We've got, there's Titari back on. We've got Sir Scott of Wood is here, and unfortunately, I'm not getting your channel names. I'm getting the ats, you know, your. So that's how I'm going through it. Let me see. We've got Sir Tom of Couples is here. Sir Tom of Houston is here. Sir Tom of Couples, our Sergeant at Arms. Sir Chris from the Valley is here. Thank you for coming in. You haven't done much on your layout. Well, that makes two of us. I rarely do anything on my layout. I just go in spurts where I'm dormant for several years and then all of a sudden explode and get a bunch done, and then I take another half decade off. Before we get going, I want to just mention something, and I guess I feel guilty about it, but I'm just not in that circle. I only heard about it last week. Former host of Sidetrack Sunday, and I've been a fan of Sidetrack Sunday since its inception. I have rarely missed an episode. In fact, it's the most frequented thing internet-wise other than my own live stream. Hey, welcome in, Cubber. And unfortunately, when I see these ads, I don't know who is whom. Anyhow, one of the second generation of hosts, Nisi J, a very funny and exuberant woman, and her husband, she was a host for a while, and when she left a couple of years ago, it was private reasons, and maybe I assume illness, but it could have been many things. I was not clued in that it was anything more because she's not somebody I text with or message with, or but I supported her channel and I supported her time on Sidetrack Sunday. A great modeler, a great member of the community. Excuse me. Anyhow, she is very ill. From what I understand, it's liver and lungs, and she's going in for. And I don't know if she's having surgery on her lungs first and then dealing with the liver. Last week, somebody was saying it was kidneys, but apparently it's liver and lung was what I was hearing today. So if you are of the praying variety, keep a prayer out for Nisi J. She was a wonderful member of the model train community. And she has been off YouTube for a couple of years, obviously fighting these health issues. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people. I did not know about it until last week, and this is my first live stream since I've heard about it. So other than that, not a lot of news to report on my end. We're in the Christmas season, so I'm supposed to stop buying stuff and doing stuff for myself at this time of year and let other people do it, even though when it comes to Joyce, it comes out of the same bank account anyhow. But, and this is, if you know, all of you know Joyce, and I talk about her, and she, you know, we'll talk to, and there's Sir Andy of Warwick, another person we haven't seen in a while. It's so great to have you in. Thank you, Sir Andy of Warwick. It is great to have you here. So, anyhow, Joyce asked me for a Christmas list, but what you got to know about Joyce is Joyce likes to surprise. She doesn't enjoy buying you a gift card and you go and buying something, or you just saying, this is what I want, buy it for me, and that's it. She wants to be able to surprise you, get you something you don't know what's in it. So this year I went on eBay and other places and said, okay, depending on what your budget is, here's 10 things, whether I get 1 or 10, whatever you want to do, whatever is in your budget. Here's a list of things. There's no priority, just mix and match, get what you can get. And what I had done is while going through eBay, I saved them on my watch list, okay? I saved them on my watch list. And then once I gave Joyce the addresses, the eBay addresses for these items, I deleted them. And this way, Joyce can surprise me. You know, she can surprise me. What does eBay do? eBay sends me a thing that says, this was on your watch list, but it's been sold. This was on your watch list, but it's been sold. This was on your watch list, but this has been sold. It's like, I took them off my watch list, but eBay, like, you looked at this, it's gone. Here's something like it. So I kind of know what I'm getting anyhow, because they were all sold within a few minutes of each other. So, yeah, just even when I do what I can to help her surprise me, somebody else finds a way to ruin the surprise. Because again, you know, we've talked for a couple of years now about her buying me the Azuma. And to this day, it's one of the coolest gifts she's ever bought me that I can talk about live on TV. But the fact that she did it without me knowing, with the help of, I think it was Andy March West Junction and Alan from Dragon Junction, Sir Alan of Dragon Junction, and Sir Andy from March West Junction, March West TMD, I'm sorry, I said Junction. I'm on a junction roll. But yeah, so that was kind of sad and silly. Moin moin, Christoph. So anyhow, what am I running today? Let's go to the 11-lane camera and let you see. I'll get things moving. It's been a rather bland week. I put up a little 2-minute video because I picked up this little Märklin Schuko scene kit, and it is on my layout. I don't know if it'll show up well in any of the cameras, but we'll do what we can. Anyhow, running today, we have the Czech Railjet. So, little Czech Railjet, we'll get him in motion, or her in motion. I tend to personify my trains, most of them in female. I actually do that for some reason. It's not that it's dried up. It's things are going on off camera that I'm just struggling being in the right spirit to write. I had written about 8 scenes, and then I came up with an idea and I started rewriting, and I kind of put myself in a situation, but it's just been, if you need to know, I have been in a very major, for the last 3-4 weeks, I've been in a major manic depression attack. There is nothing specifically that's going on, just sort of an amalgam of everything, but that's what people need to understand about manic depression is there's no rhyme or reason to it. That's why it's considered an illness where regular depression isn't. I am having my head's been in a lot of dark places lately, and I just can't write funny stuff when I'm waking up each day just wanting to blow up the world. Or myself. Anyhow, in line 2, I've got a Class 181-2 freight hauler and pulling the container wagons today. In lane 3, I'm running my Austrian IC or EC, whichever way you want to look at it. Kyan and I don't want to say thoroughly, but Kyan and I tested everybody for 45 minutes on Tuesday and about 20 minutes yesterday, and we had no issues. So I'm just hoping, and sadly, it's not even the time of year. It just, something got into my head, and it's just been burrowing. And, I think I've said it a couple of times. And there are people I talk to offline where I say, I don't want to do my live stream today. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And the problem is I have coping mechanisms. I've trained myself over 50 years how to deal with it when I feel it. But unfortunately, it does mean certain things get shut off. But I've been, I just been in kind of a bad place. And I can't begin to tell you what it is. I mean, it's not anything family. It's not anything directly. It's just, a lot of times it's just stuff in dreams and some other things going on. And usually I can fight it off in a few days, but I've been going for about a month. And so I've just been, anytime I sit down and start writing Matt Clark, I just get pissed off. And I started writing a couple of parody songs just to see if changing gears would help. And unfortunately, that did go. I am running the IC3 with the German flag on some of the cars because I had to take it off last week because it was acting up on the one line where I have a little bit of a divot. I mean, I have been fighting some mild health issues, some things that can be scary at times, and that might be part of it. I'm running the metronome back there, but I'd rather not become a depressed on the live stream. The whole reason I force myself to do the live streams is because you people are always such wonderful people, and you make, I never walk away from a live stream unhappy. Hey, Sir Kyle Stevens, how are you? And then way in the back, I'm sorry, I'm running the class E410. I'll get him in motion. Or maybe not. Come on. Chug, 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 chug. There you go. I'm only running a couple of cars with them today. Well, yeah, they eventually do pass, but this has been one of the worst I've had in years. It's just been, if I think about anything, I go in the wrong place. Because, one of the worst things people will say to you, to those of us that suffer from bipolarism or schizophrenia or whatever you want to call it, just eliminate my, the whole autism thing. Is people say, well, have you tried not being depressed? It's like, there's a difference between being depressed because bills are high, somebody in the family passed away. Manic depression just comes out of nowhere. It comes out, it finds something in you, and the first thing it does is it just, almost like a chemical imbalance, it tries to convince you not to do the things that make you feel good. And that's why I force myself to do certain things. Joyce, let's go out and do something. Do your live stream. Joyce has been very patient with me the last few weeks because I have not given her much to work with. One of your issues is lack of sleep. I get 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night. The problem is I have to sleep with a device, not a breathing device, just a device that's in my ear that plays either music or movies because it helps my brain tune stuff out because otherwise I have night terrors. I have really crazy dreams that can make me wake up and, and the dreams get so real. There are times I wake up and in my dreams, 5 people have been shot dead in front of me and I wake up and I'm looking for the bodies. Hey, hello, Sir Ray Bertelson. Indeed, bipolar is when you're running the wrong trains on the wrong layout. Well, and that's why I'm here. Hi, Sir Greg. How are you? That's why I'm here, because I know you guys will, you won't necessarily cure or solve it, but you guys are here. And I'm sure some people may, oh God, he's talking mental health, and off we go. But, you know, I've done videos on it in the past because I think those of us that suffer from it, the more open we are about it and about ourselves, the more awareness we can bring. You know, sadly, I love the actor Sir Anthony Hopkins, but he just did an interview last week where I lost all respect for him because he called a lot of the stuff like autism and ADHD fake. Because, well, 20 years ago it wasn't diagnosed. Well, I was diagnosed with autism in 1970. You know, it's been around a long time. It was first mentioned in a research paper like 1911, something like that, and was officially added to the mental health encyclopedia, I think in 1943, 1946, somewhere. But that's, I have coping mechanisms I do with that too. Yeah, and I was a big bowler. I haven't bowled in 20 years. But when I was young, my dad was a big time bowler too. And my dad, football and bowling, he really pushed me in. He pushed harder on football, but I became a bowler. The problem is I was a very good bowler. In the 1980s, in my early teens, I was averaging over 200. I bowled semi-pro. I bowled in money leagues and made money. You know, I think the highest average I ever carried was a 215, and that's back in the 1990s. But the problem is I was one of those guys that if I didn't throw a strike, I was stomping. If I didn't throw a strike over 3 balls, I was stomping and kicking the machine. If I missed an easy spare pickup, I would embarrass myself. And so I took myself out of it until I could stop acting like a baby. You know, my kids didn't want to go bowling with me anymore or go watch Daddy bowl. And that was sort of a wake-up call. I had to stop. Yeah, you can't trust them. They have loco motives. We're going to get all the dad jokes going here. But, you know, and the thing is, I had a good vibe with Matt Clark. I mean, I knew episodes 1 and episode 4 were going to be kind of dry because they're setting up plot. You know, when you don't have live actors or animation, you know, where it's a comic strip, but you're trying to set up a story and jokes. There's a lot of narration. There's a lot of talking. You know, you got to think back to the old days of radio dramas, if anybody's old enough to remember the old CBS Mystery Theater on the radio. So, you know, episode 1 was, I mean, I throw in a couple of jokes there, but it's planting the seed, and you got to water, and you got to water, and it can be tedious to some listeners. Other people are good listeners. They can't wait for the story, and this is just the first bit. But I knew there were some dry scenes, but I did get a couple of unfriendly comments where people were complaining, oh, it's too dry, it's not, and they weren't necessarily fans of Matt Clark. And so I was doing a rewrite anyhow because I came up with a plot line and a storyline I think is very funny. But I'm stuck in this one scene where, since I've already published, this is the danger when you publish 5 scenes, you got to kind of stick to that story. But part of me is like, okay, for one scene, I painted myself into a corner where I either make another very boring, dry scene without a lot of jokes, and then the next scene's going to be crazy, and it stays crazy after that. It's just I want to try to add a couple of things to that scene to make it funnier and more interesting. I don't want to put out another dry scene. But the problem is I've got so many jokes I've written, and I'm like, well, wait, how can I bring this in? I'll give you one example. They are in, you know, if you watch the last Matt Clark episode, they are in the United Kingdom. They are in England, and they brought the 3 babies, Matt and Clark's twins, and then Matt and Lil's 2 kids, Luke and Leia, and then they brought we call him Dannon, Buck and Madame Lot's son. They brought those guys along, and I haven't really mentioned them much. There's one scene where they're there. And then they brought Goliath the horse. And we've mentioned Goliath, but, you know, Goliath, why did I bring Goliath? Because I like the options Goliath gives me as a character, as a joke. All you did was take a day off. Oh my God, they're going to keep going. So, you know, the plot's going to get crazy. And I don't know how many, because I've got everything scripted, not words written out, but I've got it plotted out perfectly, except for the very end, because I'm still debating how do I really want to end it. But I've got some things I want to plant these seeds. I'm like, how am I going to get them there? Because part of the thing is, if you're watching the background story, they are in England for a reason. Somebody had them brought to England for a reason. And what is that reason? Hello, Sir Joshua Cannon. What kind of track do I use? It is Märklin C-Track. Everybody goes, uh-oh, here he goes, that C-Track picture again. It is this, Märklin C-Track. If you look at it right there, there's a perfect picture. It's got a third rail down the middle, except the third rail's nubs, because the actual third rail is underneath. And then it just has these little nubs, we call them, these little nubs that stick up, and that's your third rail. It's wonderful because it's plug and play, and the way it's designed, once it goes together, it doesn't come apart unless you take it apart. You just put it at a V, click it together, and if you want to take it apart, you push on the clip. Don't try to turn it sideways. You'll break it. To take it apart, you press on the seam, and it comes apart just like that. And it'll last forever. But the nice thing is, it's set up embedded, so you can put, this is a motor to run a switch, and there's room to put a little decoder, so you don't have to run everything down and run it to something else. You can do it all straight underneath the track. So it's pre-bedded, doesn't look super realistic, but most people that run the German trains, the European, if they run 3-rail, most of them use C-Track. A lot of them use K-Track. And sometime before the end of this show, I will be showing you K-Track. Because I have some here. I just don't have it here. Whoops, wrong camera. Guess I should have gone. There we go. Aha, the mysterious Mr. Billy Aha. Aha! Hey, hello, Sir Digger of Evans. Welcome in. And have I missed anybody else? Hey, there's Eric. Sir Eric of Von Don Eisenbahn. What did 0 say to 8? Nice belt. Ba-dum-bum. Oh, the dad jokes are coming. Gonna get about 4 of them, maybe 5 of them here. There we go. All right. Good timing, good timing. Other than the trees in the way. Andre! Hello, Sir Andre of Eckert, of the lands east of Rostock. Joyce and I were just talking about Rostock the other day. We've been watching our videos from our trip to Germany in 2023, but we also watched a couple from this past summer's trip and just kind of having a happy stroll down memory lane. The negative side, yeah, the blue Loco that's going across the back there, the Czech Railjet. That's a Taurus. That's a Taurus, Czech Railjet. South of Rostock. Okay, south. I had in my head you were east. Oh, well, south, east, it's all a direction. Ha! Oh, my God. We're just going to keep throwing those. Hello, Dinmore. How wonderful to have you. Let's get that in view. Whoa, that dude's flying. No wonder I'm getting so much ozone. Those old motors, they do ozone. Let's slow him down a bit. That guy way in the back. There we go. We'll slow him down a bit. That's better. I gotta adjust his speed settings. Abu Dhabi do. Oh, that was a bad one, Sir John. Yeah, I saw that, EFO. They're having a problem with the input. Although, if you paid attention to Garrett in that video, they've actually already solved the problem. They're trying to do the roller coaster, the Voltron. But if you listen to Garrett's narration at the beginning of the video and a couple of times he came back, they've actually clearly already solved the problem. But yeah, they fried that PCB board. From what I was understanding, they had plugged the wrong energy source into the wrong place. But if you obviously saw the video, it caught fire. Hey, there's a little smoke there, and the funny thing is they're laughing while they're doing it, like, oh, look, the computer is on fire. Scheisse, we've got to start at the drawing board again. And by the way, I have to do the genre card just for you, and maybe EFO. I'm running something Steuerwagen first, okay? We're running a Steuerwagen first today. Yeah, Dundas James, James Galton from Dundas Junction, shared a video today of the, who is it? The Canadian National Kansas City Christmas train. Now that Christmas train is going to be in the Toledo area sometime between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning on whatever day. I forget what day Joyce said. But it'll go to... Really? Everybody else gets it. But Toledo? Yeah, you got to stay up till 3 in the morning to go catch it. Ugh. I've learned so much from my mistakes, I need to make more. I learn from my mistakes, but if I make the same mistake twice, I get very pissed at myself. Yeah, EFO, I caught that too. When they said 15 amps, I was like, wait a minute, did they say 15 amps? 15 amps? Wow. I was like, no, they didn't say. I mean, what could it have been? There's no way they said 15 amps. And I went back and yeah, they said 15 amps. Whoa. That's a lot of juice. Hello, Sir Leslie of Gilpin. Yeah, the Canadian Pacific. Yeah, I can't keep track which one bought KC. But, you know, I just don't follow the model train, or I'm sorry, I barely follow the model train industry, but I don't follow, you know, when I hear mergers, I got to watch Ray Ron's channel and listen to his views. Because Ray Ron, if you're not subscribed to Ray Ron VR, check him out. Cool channel. But he gives very well thought out, rational discussions on his views of big things that happen in the actual train industry, mergers, and as well as the model train world. Like he just did a video on Athearn buying out, what was it, Microtrains? Was it Athearn that bought out Microtrains? Hey, Sir John the Mystic is here. Oh, Josh, I mean, to be honest, I am having serious issues with my handshakes. And I don't mean I'm having trouble shaking hands with people. I am dropping things. I'm having hand spasms all the time. and I go to pick something up and I drop it. I go to grab something, I drop it. I'm carrying something, all of a sudden, blah, and I drop it. They've gotten really bad to the point where I am in communication with doctors about this because they put me on some pills for the hand shakes, the hand tremors, and it didn't work. And the problem is there's about 4 things that can cause hand tremors. Now, I figure because my dad had them, it's the genetic, more nervous disorder thing, but they can be signs of other things. So now I have to get all that tested. Oh, they're getting worse, Ray. I'm sorry, they're getting worse. Well, we all have a bias. We cannot be completely unbiased, but you try to be fair. Because always there'll be somebody that will take the counterpoint, either because they believe differently. There are some people who are going to say Athearn acquiring, and did anybody correct me? Atlas, not Athearn. Atlas acquired microtrains. See, I can't keep that. Atlas acquired microtrains. And they said they're going to keep it up and up and up and up. But now they're going to be able to distribute microtrains more out there. So supposedly it's going to be good for microtrains. Again, I don't know. Too often when one corporation buys a smaller corporation, it's to gut it. To get it, what capital they can out of it, and then to gut the business. Steal whatever they can steal, although it's not stealing when you buy it. But, you know, the whole concept of a hostile takeover. Oh, no kidding. Well, all across Germany, you've gotten low temperatures and a lot of snow. I've seen a lot of snow in some regions. Okay. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. Tschüss, Ian. Goodbye. Hello and goodbye. Qualcomm is acquiring Arduino. British Rail is on strike. Is there a British Rail? My phone kept calling me Shirley. I realized I had it in airplane mode. That's a good one. I hadn't heard that one. Now, we had snow 2 weekends ago. We got down to -1, -2 Celsius, which is about 29, 30 Fahrenheit. And we got about an inch of snow, maybe a little less than an inch, about 2 centimeters of snow 2 weeks ago. And then last week it was about 17, 18 Celsius. It was around upper 50s, low 60s. And don't call me Shirley, that's right. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. Oh my God, that joke was in my... Oh, I never started the bottom. Nobody even said that, or if you did, yes, the floor. I never started the floor trains. All right, yeah, and I didn't announce what I was running because I didn't know what I was going to run until about 2 hours ago. So let's go to floor cam. On the floor today, we are running the Intercity 125, or is that the one with the other Loco? But it's the HST, it's the Class 43. And then I'm running the Beatles train in honor of, with the Class 73 in honor of the new anthology album, and they've re-edited and they're redoing that. Okay, everybody up top was running well, so you're going to be the... Get going! Get going! Do it! Don't look at me like that. Don't give me those eyes. $125 is diesel, $225 is electric. Ah, well. Hey, Sir Dan of Clintonville. Nice to have you here. All right, good night. Hi, thank you for spending a couple of moments with us. About 37 minutes. Uh-oh. 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 What's up with that? Don't tell me the gremlins have started. I discovered the gremlins downstairs, and all of a sudden they're... Huh. Sorry, we had a... And we still have it. What's going on here? Whoop. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to stop them all, but I just did. No, not yet. Other than things being a little later than expected. What's going on with you two? Come on. Whoops. That wasn't brilliant, Anthony, gosh. Again, you do easily 20, 30 laps, and all of a sudden, oh, we're going to uncouple twice in the same spot. Now, I did change some couplers on this train before I ran them, but again, they ran fine. And they ran fine the first half hour here, and then all of a sudden, just the same two cars are uncoupling. So I turned the one car around, and we'll see if that solves the problem. But I'll keep an eye on it. Well, I was just thinking in my head, no gremlins today. And they rear their ugly heads. And Sir Raymond of Legs is here. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, you had some good finds at that show. I didn't, Raymond. I guess I don't know why I didn't, but if I did know, I had forgotten that you were doing N-Gauge because you bought some N-Gauge. Yeah, it's better to call it N-Gauge because there's multiple scales. Hey there, Sir Andy of March West Junction. Now, are you guys going to be a problem here again, or are we all set? Okay. Okay, good. So, all right, but yeah, we got the guys going. Long view here. But yeah, this is the second week I'm on the new internet, and knock on wood, the internet has been great. I'm pumping up about 7.1, 7.2 megabytes per second up. And absolutely no problems. Hello. Voice audio is a tiny bit low. Interesting. My mic says it's doing okay, but all my sound bars indicate I am broadcasting at a strong level. Which white train's not moving? Your mic is fine. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 trains up above and both trains down below are moving. So I don't know. Are you just seeing some of the ones that are parked on the side? Yeah, those guys parked over there. They better not be moving. Otherwise, we'll have some crashes. That's my Bremen parking area. I've lost my pointer stick. I don't know what I did with it. Yeah. These guys over here, yeah, they're all parked on the side. That's just a parking area. At Bremen Hauptbahnhof, or Hanover Hauptbahnhof. Second to last container on the container train is not completely locked into place. One of the yellow ones. Welcome, having a good time. Yeah, those are the Mahano, the Max Bogles. They look sharp, but boy, I need to put some weight in them because boy, they do not want to stay in very well. So I'll wait for it to come around and then fix her up here. Probably bounced on a... So what do we have yet? 65. That's been a good speed. You have been running beautifully. I love, this is a Piko, this red 181 here. All right, I don't know who loaded these containers, but somebody's getting fired. Now just stay on. Okay. Get you back up in motion. Hey, Monsville, good morning to you. Good morning to those down under. Yeah, I agree, but I will not badmouth Mahano. When I got into this hobby, the Märklin guys were bad-mouthing Mahano right and left and scared me off of Mahano. Both the guys from Germany and the guys I was getting to know in America that ran Märklin. And they all scared me off Mahano. But that Blue Tiger I've got, beautiful, awesome runner, and one of my strongest locomotives. And these Max Bogle containers are pretty good. They're just probably a little light. But I don't even think it's so much that the wagon is light. It's the cars don't stay on. They're actually magnetized. There's like tiny little magnets on the bottom of the car and a little metal plate on the wagon in the container. Little bit of magnet and metal. And the thing is, it doesn't hold very well. It would not be hard to pry it open and stick some weight in there, but I don't think that would solve the problem. You love your Mahano steamers. Yeah, and so once your horizons broaden and you meet more people, more experienced people, people that don't have, I hate this company and everything they make is bad. I've met plenty of Mahano lovers, and I've learned that there are certain types of Mahanos you don't buy, and there are certain Mahanos you do buy, that you can trust it. But they do have a low budget range that even the guys that love Mahanos say those can be problematic. But hey, I have some Märklins that can be problematic too. And you learn. I love the company Piko, and Piko's highest range, awesome. But I will not buy anything. I will not buy a locomotive from their hobby level again. I've had 4 or 5 of them, or how many I've had, and I've had problems with pretty much all of them. Blown decoders, constantly being very weak pullers. But it's like, watching a lot of the UK channels. There are people that are Hornby haters. If it's Hornby, it's garbage. I've got Hornby Azuma. It runs great. I've got 2 other Hornby locomotives that run great. My Eurostar, a bad design. My Beatles Yellow Submarine Eurostar, a bad design. My Hornby that I got from Brian, the HST down here, the Swallow Livery HST. For as old as it is and as beat up as it's been, Brian did a wonderful job bringing it back to life, and I love it. Because the Swallow Livery is one of my favorite British liveries. Now, that Class 73, it's a fine runner. But it's so, for the price I paid for it, because Hornby slapped on the Beatles name and doubled the price of its value. Now, I did get it on sale, marked down almost half, but even at half price, I don't think it's worth the money for the cars. It's a very low budget. It doesn't even have lights. And they charged it as if it was a digital locomotive and car set. See, and there you go, Raymond. Everybody has a different experience. It's a combination of your control system, your track, how you take care of stuff, your expectations. So I won't badmouth companies. I will say I've had bad luck with some. Now, you're looking in this picture here, you can see my gray and white Model Bahn Union. These things were raved about when they came out, but now you're hearing the guys that bought them and raved about them saying, okay, there are some problems with them that Model Bahn Union needs to fix. And some of the issues are the one issues I had, that the way the couplers are mounted to the cars is bad. So I'm seeing more people talking about these. They're gorgeous. What you're seeing in this picture here, parked on the side there, that is one of my favorite models in terms of livery. Joyce loves it. I think it's gorgeous. It's one of my favorite liveries on a locomotive or a multiple unit right now. And I mean, I would put it up there with the Railjets. It appeals to me in a lot of ways. But it's got a couple little touchy issues. It runs fine in my live streams as long as I keep it on certain lines. But it will randomly go on by itself and suddenly decide it's on address 3, but all I have to do is reboot my central station and it goes back to the preset address I gave it. But it's gorgeous. It runs great. But it does not like doing 3 hours on my live stream. Towards the ends of my live streams, it'll start to slow down and even stop at points because it's overheating. But I don't know if anybody makes their model trains to run 3 hours nonstop. I mean, even Miniature Wonderland runs their trains for somewhere 20 minutes to 40 minutes, and then they change them out. Oh, yeah, Hornby is cheaper. You know, this Daypole Scott Rail I've got is one of my favorite locomotives, Märklin, Hornby, Daypole, whatever. It's gorgeous, and I paid the equivalent of $120 for it. Well, $130 for it. And it's better than some of my Picos that I've paid $200 to $300 for. Now, mind you, that was $200 to $300 for digital. This one is digital ready. I think it's got the decoder in it. You just have to go inside and turn the switch, flip the little switch on it. Not even inside, I think it's underneath. You flip the switch on it and it'll run in digital mode, but it's not sound. Yeah, I've got a bunch of Hornby. The only Hornby I am disappointed in completely in terms of quality is my Eurostar, my Beatles Yellow Submarine Eurostar. I love the train. It's gorgeous. But for the price they charge, the coupling system is stupid, and it does not run beautifully. I can't even run it in its full 6 car because it either uncouples or derails. If I run it as 4 cars, it's fine. If I run it as the 6 car set, it uncouples or derails all the time. One or the other or both. Oh, that's cool, Leslie. Yes, EFO, I have. Now, mind you, it took them almost 20 years before they started having the problem and running trains 16 to 18 hours a day on that track. But yeah, so as you already know, they are in a process. They are slow. They've left some areas 3-rail, but when they started, it was almost all 3-rail. Now it's about 40% 3-rail, if even that high. It might be down to 30% 3-rail. They are just, I mean, and they do this overnight every night. They do it live when they have visitors, but most of it they do so that they don't disrupt. And they just go in and get 3-4 workers, and they just lay 20, 30, 40 feet of track or replace an entire line. But yeah, they're going all 2-rail now. Because the... Hey, did I see Sir Dave of New Zealand is here? Great to have you here. But, you know, Joyce has had... It's hard to say Joyce has had fun, but she's had fun watching me go from not knowing what I'm doing to getting it done in 20 minutes to half an hour of upgrading all these old Märklins to the digital. Hey, Sir Doug, how are you? Welcome in. Yeah, I was just mentioning, I guess you didn't hear, it's going to be in the Toledo area, but its time in the Toledo area, we were told, is going to be sometime between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., a 4-hour window. That's when Toledo's going to get it. It'll be in Michigan, several lines across Michigan earlier on different days. But the one time it goes through Toledo, I forget the date. Joyce is the one who mentioned it. She was like, hey, let's go see this. And then it was like 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. And she said, never mind. Hello, Sir Craig from CMD Models. understand that. I just, I got encouraged to keep all my boxes for my trains in case I decide to move or sell. So I do, but I don't like to put everything back in the box. So I have display shelves for all the for all my stock or storage boxes. Like, well, you guys have seen it, but I'll show it again. I got these storage boxes down here, and like there's my IC1. That's my drawer for my Austrian IC. My night jet is in there, and so on and so on. I got a bunch of those all around here, and I prefer it that way, where I can just reach in and put them up rather than go through the hassle taking them out of the box. And then all the boxes are on a book. They're on this one credenza. They're on this one credenza and this bookshelf underneath where my high-speed trains are parked. Let's see if those cars moved again. Oh, they're still good. Okay. You want to put a day-pull drive shaft for 2 pounds. For 2 pounds, $4 Australian, but postage was 30 pounds, 83. And I can almost buy a new Loco from Rails That Shuffled for that. Yep. Yes, it's new, but actually I've had it for almost 2 months. That is the Christmas wagon. I just, I found that I'd put it on one of the shelves with empty boxes for freight. I was like, why did I put that there? So I grabbed it and put it here so I'd remember when I get the Christmas train out after Thanksgiving to have it out. But yeah, it's the 2025 Christmas wagon. Weihnachtswagen. Halb null. 20, 25. It's an ore car. It's an ore car, and the ore is gold. There's gold in them there hills. So it's cute. I like it. It'll look nice with the other Christmas cars in the rake. It could go in Long Henry as a joke. I agree. I've been learning about Long Henry simply because when I was shopping for ideas for Christmas on eBay, searching for things I was interested in, because I type in Märklin and then certain passenger cars. I have certain freight cars I think I want to start collecting, or wagons. So all of a sudden I started getting, like, this one guy is selling all the things that went with the Long Henry. All the things that went with Long Henry. What are you doing? Did I see Randall has said he's got to take off? Oh, Problems with the cruise. All right, good night, Sir Doug. Good night, Sir Randall. Be safe out there. You need freight cars, but in TT scale. That shouldn't be too hard to find in your area, is it, Andre? There's a little antique shop that was across the street from where Joyce and I stayed in Rostock that had a bunch of TT. Old TT locomotives and freight. And then the one shop in Rostock Joyce and I first went to had a ton of TT in it. But I'm sure you know the shops in Rostock. Yeah, I've been really looking at a lot of the Ertz 3Ds. But I found some various ones. Some of them came pre-weathered. Some of them come... And I think the pre-weathered ones would look weird with all my clean stuff. No, YouTube. I'm not going to put ads in. Greg, I do not do any decorations on the layout for Christmas. So, no. The one thing I do is my live stream, the last live stream before Christmas, I do what's called Steamer Palooza, which you were here for Oktoberfest. Steamer Palooza is kind of the same idea, except instead of running, I run all my steamers and all the Era 3 and 4 freight I have, and it's what I do for Christmas. And I one of the things I do is I add my Christmas train, because we have a Märklin Christmas locomotive, which I got to remember where it's at. I've got a Märklin, oh, I know where it's at, it's right over here. I got a Märklin Christmas locomotive and a bunch of the Märklin yearly Christmas cars, and we set that up and put it around the tree, but then I bring it downstairs for Steamer Palooza. So I have a Christmas train and then just a bunch of steamers. I don't know, there's something about steamers that goes more with Christmas than anything else. Märklin released a Class 101. Is this the new one they just released? That is also a Christmas locomotive. And I've toyed with getting that one just so I could have a second Christmas train. So I'd have the old steamer and the modern. I think it's a Class 101. Raymond, Jean, Ifo. I know Märklin's got a new Christmas locomotive. Yeah, Ifo, I've got, yeah, that one plays Christmas carols. Unfortunately, it doesn't play obvious Christmas carols. It plays old German Christmas carols. What is the black train in the middle of the layout? Oh, it's not that one. Trying to figure out which one, because I don't have a black train. Is it one of the ones that's moving? That's going in the background there? Let me see if I can get a better camera for a Raymond corner view. Nah, the 11 lane view is probably the best right there. Or, nah, not Joyce. Let's try workstation cam. This might be the better one. It should be coming around 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Yeah, that little guy. He's dark green with a black bottom. That is a Class E410. It's an old German, you know, post-war 50s, early 60s locomotive, and a couple of cars that it would have pulled at that era. Well, hello, Sir Christopher of the Continental Variety. So how soon till you get, well, I shouldn't give things away. Oh, I watched it, Monsville, but I'm sorry it wasn't well watched. Try another one. Maybe it'll make the rounds more. I do have an all-black train. It's my Märklin train, which will be running in the next couple of weeks. Oh, well, I thank you for that, Josh. I mean, I'm happy with it. There's a lot to be done on it in the long run, but I just did a bunch of it in the spring and summer, and so it might be another 4 years before I do anything else on it. I hope not. But I am psyching up to work on the Fowler car system. Artie is going to be staying with us at the end of December and starting the new year, and he wants to see if he can solve the issues with the motors and the reed sensors and that. No, Aaron, I'm not. And counting the locomotives and running units I had, powered units I had, you know, DMUs and EMUs, I didn't count them all. And even afterwards, Joyce was like, "You really have almost 100 now?" Yeah. Oops. Do you think that's enough? I talked about buying another ICE3, and she's like, "How many ICE3s do you have?" And I'm like, 1, 2, 3, and part of a fourth. You don't need another ICE3. Isn't one ICE3 enough? No. I've got 2 ICE4s. I've got 3 functioning ICE3s, one that's running today. I have 2 ICE2s and 2 ICE1s, and parts that I could maybe cobble together and get a sort of pseudo half. In fact, there's a couple of things I'm looking at. I can now sell things. I had it out yesterday and was showing it to, I think Christopher. It was the day before. I'm thinking of selling it or giving it away, something. I gotta see, where did I put it? Oh, it's up there. I'm sure Raymond or Evo or even Jean Ricard could tell you a lot more about this than I could. This was part of Herb's collection. So let me show this to you. Sorry, I keep putting my face on screen. This is a non-powered ICE2 unit. And it's designed that you connect it to 2 other ICEs and remove the dummy cars on each one and replace the dummy cars with these. And you run a double with them. And I'm never going to do that. So this is one of the things of Herb that I could potentially part with, but it has been used. It's not in the roughest shape. It's 3-rail. It is 3-rail. But from what I understand, and Ifo, correct me if I'm wrong, or Jean, correct me if I'm wrong, this is designed to hook up. So if you wanted to run a tandem ICE2, where you're running 2 of them together, this is what you use to hook them up. Yeah, so a dual IC2 consist, right. So this is what you add. You take one of each from the other 2 trains, and these are designed, and you join them together. The noses come off, and there's a little bar that you use right here to join them together. So I'm thinking of, I'm never going to do that. So I'm thinking of putting this on eBay, or if there's somebody, I might put it in the Märklin market. I can't tell you. It's definitely been used and used more than a little. The skis on it show a little bit of wear, not a lot, but a little bit. But this is something, you know, if I had a friend, I'd give it to him. Otherwise, I'll put it on eBay or the Märklin, one of the Märklin Facebook market groups, and say, if anybody wants this, you know, I've looked online, and ones in same condition or better are going for about $250. Well, at least that seems to be what people are asking. I can't say they're going for it. So it's one of those things. But I could give it away. You know, a good friend, I wouldn't charge him money for it. But if somebody wanted one, because I'm not going to use it, and Herb has passed away, so, or at least that's what I was told. But, so yeah, let's go back to looking at trains again, and not my ugly mug. Oh, I turned around and bumped that camera off, darn it. Dude, you are annoying me. Ever since I moved you off the table, you have become a pain in the patootie. There. I try to hide my grandson's play area. Well, hello, Sir Victor. How are you? They all look the same. Yeah. I mean, I could have said that a few years ago. Trains are trains, but I fell in love with the ICEs my first time riding on them. I thought they looked cool, and I enjoyed traveling by train. It took me about 3 or 4 trips by train, and then my brain started clicking. Our first trip to Germany in 2003 with my students, and it was like, oh my God, I don't have to drive. I don't have to listen to the kids complain or their crappy music and blah, 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 blah. Or have them complain about my crappy music. And if I got to go to the bathroom, or Joyce has to go to the bathroom, we don't have to find a place to pull over. Pack a lunch, you don't even have to worry about food. And I just fell in love with traveling by train, and then it was loving the trains. Yeah, I agree, Andre. Ich stimme dir gar zu. I'm not a big fan of it. Hey, I didn't put the advert in. I did not put that advert in, Monsville. That was not me. If you don't put an ad in after a while, apparently they do it themselves. That was not me. But, you know, Joyce is not, quote, into trains, but she is into trains with me. She went to the club meetings with me. She, oh, I haven't done Bridge View today. Let's get that going in. We'll get a couple of guys passing it in a little bit. There we go. The background shot. We're getting ready for hometown Christmas on December 6th, which is St. Nicholas's Day, and also Day of the Krampus. Yes, me too. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Talgos either. But, yeah, so the, Speaking of Czech Railjet, here it comes around the corner again. You get the fuzzy close-up. And we'll see that IC3 zipping through there. I've got to do 2 more cars. I've got to do 2 more cars with the German flag stickers, and I'll be happy with it as a 5-car consist. But I've got to do it. Oh, well, that's cool, Josh. No, Victor, that is from an Austrian company called Roco. That is a Roco. Märklin has never made a Czech Railjet, and I don't know that Märklin has ever made coaches for a Railjet, but they've made Austrian Railjet locomotives. They've made the Taurus in the Railjet livery. In fact, one came out last year, or it's coming out this year. They've got one is a recent release. You like fuzzy close-up? Well, there are certain fuzzy close-ups I don't mind either, but that's not for public discussion. But no, that's awesome. Hey, if I had people to run my trains for, I'd have people down here. I have had 3 live stream guests. I've had Tom from Tom's Märklin Trains and Layout. And I always forget the full name of his channel. But Thomas has come in at least once on my live stream. I had some guys from my club once, the club I used to belong to. And then I believe Artie was... Did Artie make my live stream? Yeah, last year, right before he got sick. Because he did my live stream, we went out to dinner, and the next day he was sick. Well, he was already sick, but it got bad for him. I think I've seen that one, KJ, and I agree. The Catalan, the TE Catalan Talgo is not bad. I'm not a fan of the Talgos. But there are definitely some that look a little better. But I can't say I love them. But no, that's awesome, Josh. That's great that you can do that. I wish I could have all of you here. But, hey, Sir Kieran is here. But the sad thing is, most of you aren't going to travel to America, and if you do, you're not going to come to Toledo, Ohio, or anywhere near Toledo, Ohio. This is one of those things where I have a love-hate relationship with Toledo. My family's been in Toledo for 2 generations. I was born here, did most of my education here. I have moved out of Toledo many times, both with my parents as a kid, and then we always moved back to Toledo. And then I left Toledo to go to college, and then came back. I took a job out of Toledo, did that for a year, came back to Toledo. As a kid, I always wanted to get out of Toledo. But I love Toledo. I root for Toledo because it's a city that I've grown up with, and so many people hate Toledo. And it's just a city that's been through the ringer. It's a Rust Belt American city that has seen its better days. And the days aren't going to get better. When I was 6-7 years old, Toledo had a population of 430,000 people. Now it's about 280. That is about 1/3 of the population. This city is 1/3 empty from where it used to be. Our suburbs bleed us dry. All the malls in Toledo closed and moved to the rich suburbs so that they could draw. And then the rich people complain. You know, this is the problem with Toledo suburbs. The people in the suburbs complained that they had to come in Toledo to the stores, so the stores shut down and moved to their suburbs. And then those people complained about the stores moving into their little towns, and they moved further out and built new suburbs and new housing developments. And then the stores follow them out, and, you know, urban sprawl on display. And, you know, we got a suburb of Toledo called Perrysburg. And Perrysburg has two sections, the township, which is the farmer folk, and then the village, which is the money people. And the money people, if you ask them where they're from, they'll say Perrysburg. You can go, where's that? And they'll go, oh, it's about 2 hours west of Cleveland. They'll never say it's a suburb of Toledo. They won't admit that they're a suburb of Toledo. Now, yes, Perrysburg is technically older than Toledo. It is older, but Toledo's the big city, Perrysburg's the suburb. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a woman. Oh, I would hope so. Yeah, and Roco's a great company, Victor. I will never say anything negative about Roco. I love Roco. I think Roco is the best company for matching their 3-rail stuff to Märklin. The Roco stuff just works with my Märklin stuff. Piko usually does, but can have some problems. Roco, it's pretty much, it goes. So I do love Roco, but I will buy Märklin if there's a choice of spending $30-40 more on a Märklin than a Roco. I will buy the Märklin for the simple fact I just believe that Märklin stuff works with the Märklin system. It's designed to work with that system. But I think Roco does a great job with their decoders and their design to fit the Märklin 3-rail, because if you're going to do 3-rail in Europe, you're talking Märklin. Märklin system is that 10,000-pound Godzilla or 10,000-ton Godzilla in the room when it comes to European 3-rail trains in HO. It's Märklin and then everybody else. Your DoStos, your Roco DoStos. Yeah, I've got some Roco DoStos. I probably need to get them out and run them again. But actually, those are from Hobby Trade, the old Danish company that Roco bought out their stock. I've got a set of DoStos, but Roco's DoStos are good. Hobby Trades, to me, were the best. I love the Hobby Trade ones. And so the ones I bought that were Hobby Trade that Roco released after Hobby Trade. Hobby Trade did not officially go belly up, but it kind of went belly up, if you know what I mean. They didn't officially go out of business, but they really, now their business is very tiny, and they sold off all their other assets. Piko rolling stock is great for beginners. Obviously, they do some high-end stuff that's better. But yeah, I will usually, if I have a choice, I'll usually buy Märklin. Although I will say this. Who was I talking to? Oh, Christopher from Continental Christopher. On Wednesday, Christopher and I had our meeting that we have every Wednesday where we video chat for a few hours. We were talking about the Sud Express, the big Euro duals, the Class 159s, that Sud Express, and the one I want is never available from Lipa. It's always, you got to make a reservation. Well, yesterday in the email, my Renaults announced they got them in stock and they have a current sale on them, and the price I would pay Renaults is only about $50-60 more than I would pay to get it from Lipa, but Renaults has them in stock right now, and I would love to get the Sud Express, either the Deutsche Bahn cargo one, or what's the other one? There's two of them I really, really like. But they've got two of them in stock and the rest are available to order. But they got a bunch of them in stock, and it's like, it's right before Christmas. I've already given Joyce my Christmas list, but there's a person saying, get the money out of somewhere else and buy it. Just buy it. While it's there. The time to buy it is when you see it. because I have wanted to get that, and I've always said no. And every now and then, Lipa gets another consignment in, but they sell out so fast. But Renaud's has them in stock, and their list, the price they're selling them for is basically the same price Lipa has them for. And then if you take my discount that I get from Lipa, it's about, Renaud's is about $60 more expensive, but I could get it from Renaud's tomorrow. I could just get in my car and drive to Chicago tomorrow, buy it and bring it back, but that would really make it an expensive locomotive. It wasn't Rail Force 1, Evo. It's not Rail Force 1. Because that's the one I'm thinking of getting from Märklin, but they're not releasing them until 2027. Why announce it in 2025 if you're not going to release it for 2 years? Same to you. One of my trains just beeped at me out of the blue. Just a random horn go. All right, Josh. I'm always on until 6 o'clock United States Eastern Time, which is midnight Central European Time, 11 p.m. UK time. But I have heard nothing but good things from the Suit Express models, the Suit Express ones. If somebody's heard differently, and I know most of you guys are American or Brits, but I've heard these Suit Express models are just absolutely fantastic. I get that, KJ. I get that. I totally get that. You know, they've got the mold. Just keep using it and put more liveries on. I mean, that's what Roco does with the Vectrons. I mean, Roco is closing in on something like 200 variations of the Vectron 193 and its various other nomenclatures in other hobby worlds. Or, you know, different, you know, like in Poland, Poland, I think they're Vectron 193s. But some companies, they're like 4193 or 493. There, one of the cameras I don't use enough, but there's a reason. Well, that would make sense, Raymond, because Joyce is a French company. They would make a lot of French locos. It's like Roco makes a lot of Austrian stuff. Jägendorfer Collection is almost exclusively Austrian or Czech and some Hungarian. Oops, just accidentally bought. It's 3:20. So you're an hour behind us, Josh. You're central. So you're 6 hours ahead. The future's still here. Hey, Chris, why don't you explain to all this? All right, thanks for hanging with us, Sir Bernard C. Great to have you here. We don't just say that, we truly mean it. There's Rusty Twanger hanging out with Joyce and me behind him. Joyce and I standing on the platform. U09 class. But I want to know how you accidentally, because if it sounds good, I'll try it on Joyce. Like, honey, I accidentally bought a $450 locomotive. You're one of the Tomorrow people. I vaguely remember that show. That show and then the Time Tunnel. Time Tunnel. Brought to you in Technicolor. Thank you, Rusty Twinger here. Yeah, I'm curious when Joyce gets here what her mood's going to be in. I browse, I find one, I look, I have bought. Certain things are edited in my mind. Get some rest from school. That's okay. Yeah, Joyce has all next week off. When I retired, they started giving us the Wednesday before Thanksgiving off. I think my last couple of years as a teacher, my last 3 years as a teacher, we got the Wednesday before Thanksgiving off. Now they just give everybody the whole week off. I browse, I find one, I look, I have bought. Certain things are edited in my mind. Oh wow, Kieran, isn't that cool? Hey, let's bring that up as a topic. How many of you, ladies and gentlemen watching, and if you watch on catch up and you're listening to this part, you can put it in the comments section. How many of you have a model train that is directly connected to you? Either it is the running numbers of a Loco you worked on, you rode behind, you saw at a station. Most of you already know the story. We've got an IC2 that is the Loco is the same running numbers and the cars are the same car numbers. And the route is the route that Joyce and I rode on from Delmenhorst to Leipzig. And then we changed trains to go into Dresden, riding another ICE2. My Railjet, my Austrian Railjet, I have seen that Loco. It was in Munich, and I got to check the cars, the same running number cars, although yes, the wagon numbers can be changed. So it might not have been the exact cars, but it was running the same consist of car 26 to car 33 or whatever. But the Loco was the same running numbers. We saw it in Munich in 2019? Or 2017, I forget which one. Might have been 2017. No, 2019. But we saw it at the Munich station, and it was like, oh wow, that's it. And then one of my ICE3s I've seen at the Frankfurt station. And then, of course, I've ridden on metronomes, but this particular metronome and the Loco that goes with it. Let's go to the 11-lane view again. It just passed that one. I don't know if I've ridden on plenty of metronomes that were pulled or pushed by a 146. But I don't know if it was that number. Hey, Sir Artie of Australia, how are you? Denny Vetti Visa. I came, I saw, I went shopping. So, when somebody's got... Welcome a deadly teddy bear. From Denmark, I believe. Yeah. So if you have, you know, because it just to me that I would never sell or get rid of that IC2 because it is exactly the train, well, a model of the exact train Joyce and I rode on. So I don't know if that means, you guys would have to tell me, when you have a model of a train you have a direct connection to, does it feel, is there a bigger attachment to that model? Because there is to me. But then I'm weird. Veni vidi fuitsi. Romans when they arrived in Friesland. Do I have any Danish trains running today? Sadly, no. I only have the one Danish train, and it ran last week. Oh, that's got to be hard, that you were involved in scrapping them. Yeah, this year, Steamer Palooza has become a brand new challenge this year. Last year, I had, about 7 steamers ready to go for Steamer Palooza. I think I had just enough steamers to run. This year, I'm thinking of seeing exactly how many steamers I have, and then I'm going to run a different set of 6 steamers, because I think I have close to 18 steamers. So on the top level, I might just run 6 different steamers each hour. Like, I'd have 6 to start, and then at 5 o'clock, I'd change them out real fast. And then at 4 o'clock, I'll change 6 out. And then at 5 o'clock, change and put the last. If I've got 18 steamers, I'm really thinking of doing that. Joyce looked at me and said, that's an interesting idea. So I'm going to see if it's the case that I have that many steam locomotives, I might do it. Otherwise, I might change them out halfway through. $3D print myself. Actually, I've got a bunch of unpainted figures I could paint. Joyce and I were going to do it, but we were too late at Getz and have Model U do a scan of us. We were going to do it. And then early last year, our plan was we were going to go up to Toronto and Niagara Falls for a few days over the summer, but it never happened. And we were going to go to Bernard at Mini Prints and have mini figures made of us. Hello, Lego Man! Lake State, yeah. I am just now in the last year or so starting to learn the smaller American lines, like Wisconsin Southern. I love the livery on Wisconsin Southern. Oh, you love the Metronome? I do too. I think it's a very sharp train, and they're nice. I've ridden on the Metronomes many times. In fact, it's almost always been Metronome. Whenever Joyce and I go up to Hamburg, it's a Metronome. We ride a Regiobahn from Delmenhorst to Bremen, and then from Bremen up to Hamburg, it's almost always a Metronome. When we came down from Lübeck to Hamburg this year, I think we rode a Metronome. I don't remember, but I think we rode a Metronome. No, it wouldn't have been a Metronome, because I don't think Metronomes go up to Lübeck. But my brain seems to think we did. Well, hello, Sir Mark of Donegal Dad. Great to have you. I do like this shot. I just need trains passing it more often. You do get to see the guys in the corner, like there's the Metronome coming around in the corner. And right about the time this rail jets off, a couple of seconds later, we will have the Austrian EC coming through. Nice and blurry. Oh, that was a terrible business design, Monsville. All right, EFO, good night. Thank you, as always, for hanging out and the information. All right, Scott Wood, thank you. Again, Joyce and I just appreciate you guys popping in and hanging out with us. There are so many things on a Friday night people could be doing that they spend it with us while I run trains and babble about whatever comes to mind. I don't care if I'm at 294 live streams in a row. It boggles the mind that, like right now we're at 41, that somewhere between 35 and 50 people, and many of you are here every week, the big question is, there have been rumors, but I've had nothing confirmed, is that Märklin might try to acquire Zoita's assets. Because Zoita, the old man, is sick. He's old. He's in his 90s. He still runs the business with the family. And he's decided to retire. And he's just going to shut the business down. People said, well, why don't you just sell it? And he doesn't want to sell it. But maybe some people will talk to him and say, sell it. You know, even if it's just sell your assets and stuff and maintain Zoita, and somebody like Märklin will release it as Märklin oil or something like that. Steam oil. You could be sleeping in with your two wives. Right. Is that what you call those two sock puppets? You just hang out while doing other things. Well, that's great. I just hang out. The sad thing is, really, the sad thing is that if I did not do my live streams, I could go weeks without running my trains. My grandson, every now and then, like this week on Tuesday, Opa, let's go play downstairs. And then he wanted me to run the trains, and then he wants to turn the lights out and run the trains with lights on. And fortunately, I had at least 3 trains that had interior lighting. So he was mostly happy with it, but he wanted me to, how come that one's not lighting up? Because it doesn't have lights. Well, get one that has lights. No, I'm set up for my light. I hated to tell him no, but it's like, I'm set up for my live stream. I don't want to take a train off and put another one back on. But what I did was turn the lights on some of the ones that were parked, and he loved that. But, 10 minutes of the trains, 20 minutes of the trains. Now, I think we stayed down here for 40 minutes, but he probably only spent 10 to 20 of that watching the trains. After that, he likes to mess with the stuff over here, and then he likes to get into my handy tack, because he likes to get cars stuck in the mud. All right, Victor, good night, but you may be back later. Hey, there's Sir Darren of Canadian Locomotive Logistics. Well, the thing is, he owns the company and his family, and they support him in the decision. But to me, you have provided the most popular brand of this. Even companies that release it, it's actually Zoita that they just lease out. Lease is not the right term, but, I can't say that it is Woodland Scenics, but like certain companies like Woodland Scenics, but I don't think Woodland Scenics is one, sell their own steam oil, but it's actually Zoita. Just like most of Woodland Scenics figurines are just old Fowler and Prizer figurines that they sell to Woodland Scenics, old runs that they don't do anymore, and let Woodland Scenics, because I had bought a package of Woodland Scenic figures and then found the same figures in my Fowler set. And then I found out later that, yeah, Woodland Scenics gets their figures from Fowler. Oh, that would be very cool. Who knows? Someday we might make it up there. I'm not a big operations guy, but I do like watching Ray do his operations. Train operations. Yeah, of smoke fluid. But Zoita is brand name. And I believe Zoita makes when Märklin sells their little smoker units and that, they're actually made by Zoita. So there is talk that Märklin might just acquire at least some of the molds and then just release it under the Märklin name. But, you know, the guy's in his 90s. He's, until recently, was sharp as a tack. Ran the business hands-on. Came to work every day, sat in his office, supervised stuff. But he's sick and retiring, and he's going to end the company. He's shutting production down. And that, you know, you don't want to leave it to a family member. I don't know if it's because he fears somebody else will ruin the business. But, you know, you're going to be dead and gone anyhow. What do you care? And good night, Leslie. Cool video today. Anytime you can get the blue Pullman, that's a win. I was watching Robert from Robert's Train Set videos just before I started the live stream. I had to go take a rest break, and so otherwise I would have finished it, but I had to go upstairs for a few minutes. Robert just bought a ton of O-gauge stuff. He hasn't even finished unboxing. He got 2 locomotives, I don't know if it's a rail car, a multiple unit, or if it was just a passenger coach, but I think it's a operating rail car. And then a couple of freight wagons, coal wagons or something like that. And he was still going. Robert has been bitten by the O-gauge bug, apparently. Well, you know, the thing about O-gauge is it's bigger, so the detailing is better. And there's enough space that it's easier to put the decoders in. You gotta love the live streams, they're the best. Some are, some aren't. I do mine, and you know, just like anybody's live stream, you're free to love it or free to watch somebody else. Well, hello, Sepper. Yes, I haven't gone to that camera in a bit, so we'll go to the floor cam for a few minutes. I'm kind of waiting for Joyce to get here in the next few minutes. Where is it? Where is it? Bremen? Go. Where's floor cam? There it is. Why was I not seeing that? I agree, KJ. And, you know, and to not think of the workers. These are people that this is their livelihood. Even if you only got 5 people and 20 machines, those 5 people, this is their job. Now, of course, he's notified them months and months in advance, and Germany has an amazing job retraining. Basically, you're guaranteed your pay for a while you search for a new job. O gauge falls and it breaks your foot. There's that, Andy. Although there's some old Märklins, and I'm sure old Hornbys that in HO or double O, if they fell off the table, they'd put a dent in the floor and you'd put them back on the table and they'd be just fine. Yeah, Karen, Joyce once asked me if she once considered putting in, she was like, you know, if you wanted to put in a garden railroad, we could put one in. And I was like, nope, A, I don't want to do that work. B, it'd be in the way of mowing. And C, I would be buying stuff for that layout and stuff for this layout. To those who run split gauges, please don't think I'm judging you. I'm not. I can't do it because to me, it would divide my wallet. It would divide my attention and divide my wallet. I can't do it. I am HO gauge, okay, and some double O with British. Because, see, I am running 2 gauges, but to me, it's just the same. It's European and American, and then the Brits, who just got to be different. They just got to be different. Yeah, no, I agree with, I knew that's what you meant, Darren. I'm just saying, it's great to see things happening and you can talk to the people, because there are some people that they do live streams, but then they don't see the chat because they're using the one camera they have the live stream and they can't get the chat on. There's reasons for it, but part of the joy of the live stream is to talk to the person while they're running trains as well as with each other. Sharing fun, thoughts, whatever, ideas, if that's what needs to be shared. Yeah, Raymond, it is, if it's big enough. There are some layouts where they do it, but it's too small a layout, so the force perspective doesn't come out well. But yeah, I know plenty of people that do that. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not condemning it. I'm not saying, I don't want somebody going, why is Anthony ripping on people that do 2 gauges? I'm not. I'm saying I can't do it. It would be a division of my wallet. I would want this train, but I'm looking at this one and this gauge. Because I just had this talk with my friend Christopher, who has HO, double O, and N scale. And he even had a couple of O scale things that he bought as he considered getting O scale. So again, those who do it, it's great. I can't. I'm not saying it's bad to do it. I'm just saying for me, it would be hard to do it. But yeah, I don't have, when it comes to YouTube, I don't differentiate. Obviously there's a difference between live streams and videos. The only negative about a live stream is that if you're not available, like I have 2 friends that do live streams. Mark Donegal Dad, and I hope I can still call him a friend. Mark from Donegal Dad does a Thursday stream, and he's been doing it for years. And for years, I was able to go in. But once I started babysitting my grandson, I could still do it because when he was little, he would take naps about that time. He would have his lunch, we'd play for a bit, and then about 1:30, 2 o'clock, Kyan, it's nap time. Kyan will not take naps now. And when he was a little bit younger, I could say, okay, you're going to watch this for a little bit, and I'm going to go into Mark's live stream. This is my show. I got to watch it. Now I can't. Kyan cannot. He gave me half an hour yesterday. I had about half an hour because he was watching a movie and was too absorbed in the movie. But like out of the blue, he'll say, Opa, let's go play this. And I'm like, can't you just watch the movie? Nope, pause it and let's go play now. And then I have Richard from Trains in the Attic does a Wednesday live stream, but I now have commitments on Wednesday, so I can't watch his stream live. And I miss it because I miss talking to him, and occasionally his mom comes in and saying hi to mom, especially this time of year as we build up to Christmas. I do miss those, but I can't make them consistently. I'm not going to change my schedules. Next year, when Kyan is in kindergarten, I'll be able to stay for an hour of the show, Mark's show, because Kyan will be in school. And I won't have to pick him up till 3:30. And the school's across the street. So, yeah, you got kids you're taking around, you got work, you got jobs. I'm at an awkward time for most Americans. They're at work. For the UK and Western Europe, it's evening, it's Friday. People are going to the pubs, they're going to movies, they're going out, they're hanging out with friends or family. So I get it. And yet somehow I've persevered and kept the stream going. Haven't missed a Friday in 5.5 years. We are going to hit right about Christmas or New Year's. We're going to hit 300 consecutive live streams unless something happens between now and then. Knock on wood, it doesn't. Although I would consider that well, it's not a record, but an enterprise in futility. I have not missed a Friday live stream. Even when I've traveled to Europe, I do a live stream just to keep the streak alive. Hey, welcome. Do not touch the live rail. So again, I don't like it when people intentionally hear only what they want to hear. I'm not saying don't do multiple scales. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing multiple scales. I am saying I can't do it. It divides my wallet. There's enough HO stuff I still want and keep buying. I can't imagine trying to suddenly try to do it in another scale. If I went to another scale, I would sell off all the HO and say, you know what? This table is so big, it would look cooler with N scale. But I would not keep the HO and double O. It would all go. And if I were to make that decision, like Joyce, I've decided to get into N scale, the rolling pin would come out. And first she'd hit me in the head with it, and then I wouldn't be able to sit down for a while. So if you can do it, and you like doing it, awesome. This is a hobby where it's big enough to do whatever you want to do. Everybody's got their thing, and people should know me enough by now that I'm not there's only one way to do it. I just will tell you adamantly that there are certain things I can do and certain things I can't do. Ziller Talbon is getting new trains. Interesting. Oh, I agree, Greg. I think everybody goes through that. Now, when I decided to get into the hobby back at the end of 2015, actually, I didn't even decide to get into the hobby until after Christmas of 2015. Or maybe even not until January or February when I built my first table and then decided I wanted a couple of more trains. Maybe that's when I decided to get into the hobby. Because originally I was just going to have the ICE3 as a memento of my traveling by train in Germany. Because even by 2015, after 2015, when I bought my first model train, I knew my exchange program to Germany was in jeopardy. We were getting fewer and fewer students in the program, and even then, fewer and fewer kids who wanted to host kids from Germany or travel to Germany. So by 2015, you could say the writing was on the wall, and that's one of the things that motivated me to buy a train. Is I thought, well, traveling to Germany's over with. It's coming to an end. And so I bought that IC3 for my classroom, and then Joyce said, nope, that's too good. Keep it at home. What am I going to do with it at home? Well, why don't you have the kids get you some track for Christmas and run it here? Okay. And then I started running it and geeking out about it. And then I said, well, I'd like the red Regio bonds that we've been riding everywhere in Germany. And, oh, I would like the Metronome. And I would like, what was the other one we got? And then Joyce turned around and said, well, you need a freight train. And all of a sudden it was like, yeah. So somewhere in the year 2016 is when I got into the hobby. And the first thoughts of building a layout started creeping in. Because even then I had just a train table. But I wanted to play my war games and do this and that. I can celebrate your 60th birthday. Do you want to celebrate it? I haven't gotten over turning 60. And I am I'm only a few weeks away from bumping up more years. Well, 1 year, but 60 is in the rearview mirror. Turning 50 was kind of tough. Turning 40 was not that tough. I was still active playing sports. 40 was the new 30, as the saying went back then. But when I hit 50, that was the first time I was like, I called somebody an old fart, and then I said, they're probably only 10 years older than me. And now I'm that age. And I still look at people and go, that old bastard over there, and I'm like, he's probably only 5 years older than me. I am the old man now. Yeah, I'm sort of two ways about that, Chris. There was, well, let's put it this way. When I was 17, I wasn't trying to live to 18. Let's just leave it at that. But on the flip side, everybody in my family lived into their 80s or beyond. My grandfather died at 85, 86. My grandfather Dodge. My other grandfather died at 85. My dad died at 84. And he was a smoker his whole life. My mom is still alive. She's 85 now. Like I said, her dad lived to 85. My great-grandfather lived to 93. And nobody in my family, my side of the family, has died young. Other than a couple of distant cousins who were killed in Vietnam or Korea. Yeah, Piko really does a good job, Raymond, of really, obviously Lima is probably the most international company. They release everything American and everything European, UK, Europe, everywhere. But Piko does a good job of really representing Europe. Obviously, if you talk N-scale, Kato makes everybody. So there are companies like, if you want Norwegian trains, there's NWJ. Jägendorfer collection is almost exclusively, as I mentioned half an hour or so ago, they're not exclusively Austrian because they do make a few Czech things and a few Hungarian things, but they're heavily Austrian and parts of the old Austrian Empire. Märklin will release, every now and then, Märklin releases something from Eastern Europe. Very rarely Polish. Piko does a lot of Polish. Roco is starting to do a lot of Polish. Poland's got some beautiful trains these days. They really do. 30 years later, still run. Yeah, well, I was in the situation where my kids had grown up and mostly moved out. I've got one daughter that lives with us. That, you know, it's everybody knows this story, but some people are new. A few years ago, Joyce told me take the basement. I think 2018, she said, just take the basement and build as big a layout as you can. Well, you're talking about what our grandparents saw, and obviously, depending on age and how old people were. Like, my grandfather, Dodge, was born in 1890. And the last few years of his life, after my grandmother died, he sold the house and he moved into a mobile home, a trailer, a caravan house, you know. And he had this tiny little office that was probably like a closet he turned into a small office. And he had a little chair, a little desk, and a typewriter. This old Brothers typewriter that's probably worth hundreds of dollars as an antique now, because it worked up until the day I last saw it, which was 4 days before he died, and I was typing on it. But he had two little things he had typed up and taped onto the wall of his of this little office, this little closet. And the first one was a list of everybody that was president from the day he was born all the way up to Gerald Ford, who was president when he died. It was he would just retype the list every time a new president came in. So you're seeing, was it Grover Cleveland right before, Grover Cleveland's second term right before McKinley, and then McKinley, or whoever was 1890s, McKinley and Roosevelt and Theodore Roosevelt and so on and so on. It was a list, and it was amazing to me because at the time it was more than half the presidents of the United States. And the other list he had, it wasn't a list, it was a little thing he typed. I was born in 1890. As a child, we walked and rode horses. I saw 2 world wars. And on July 20th, 1969, at the age of 78, because he turned 79 later that year, at the age of 78, I saw human beings walk on the moon. In my life, when I was 5, there were no cars, there were no planes. We walked and rode horses, and at the age of 78, a man landed on the moon. So yes, that generation, at least if you lived in that time period, you went from the industrial age to the space age, and very few generations saw that, but he spanned it. Hello, Sir Dan of Dan's Model Railway. All right, go make some breakfast, Mon. Thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. And Sir Mick is here. We had to open the bar without you, but thank you for popping in. It's always great to see you, sir. Yes, and MCK makes very good models. Hobby Trade made great models, but they're not really making I think they're still making rolling stock, but they don't make Locos anymore. They really restricted what they make. When Gladstone was prime minister and died when Thatcher was PM. Yeah, so that's roughly the same time period. Anyone under the age of 35 is called kid. But, you know, the thing is, I am not one of these people that bashes, oh, kids today, they have, you know, blah, 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 blah. You hear that from people my age and older, oh, kids today, kids today, kids today. If you have a problem with kids today, it's because we made the world to have these problems with kids today. We want to whine about the tech. Kids can't get their faces out of a phone. There are 80-year-olds at my grocery store that can't get their face out of their phone, okay? It's not just kids. It's the differences the kids grew up with this tech. But when we start talking about, oh, kids have it easy today, that's because we grew up when it was hard and said we didn't want our kids to have to go through what we went through. You know, you get people that are convinced the world's more violent today. No, it isn't. Actually, in most countries, violent crime is much lower than it was 100 years ago. We just keep more stats than we did 100 years ago. We live longer. We're technically healthier. And in a lot of ways, you know, it's, you know, and trust me, I was a teacher. I saw a lot of bad kids coming up, and you go, oh my God, the future. But the kids were a product of their parents and the neighborhood and the society they lived in. So there, I'll get done preaching now. Yeah, bullying was tough enough, but now when, you know, in the old days, once you, like me, once you were done being bullied at school, you went home. Okay, well, there was bullying in the house too. But you could go into your room and hide in books and comic books, go outside, ride your bike and get away. I would go caddy at the local country club beginning around 11 years old. And then you were away from that. Now, you put a presence on Facebook and you're just bombarded with crap. You're bombarded with crap. But at the same time, these kids today have a, they're not sitting alone in school thinking there's nobody like them, because social media shows you there's a lot of people like you. Look at us trained people. Okay? How many countries do we have represented in this live stream at this one time on this one day? We've got Americans, Aussie, New Zealand, Europe, the various countries of the UK. I don't think we have anybody from Asia watching in right now. But we would never know each other. I would have never gone to Australia, and I would have never thought to go to Australia. The only reason I went to Australia was Artie twisted my arm, and Joyce liked the idea of, hey, Australia, something different. And I was like, but Germany. And we said, all right, we'll go down. And Artie's like, we'll show you. And that would have never happened. And I would have been poor in the experiences. All the people I met at Getz, when Joyce and I went over in October, the people we met are the few people we met, like Jim from Hover Motion, Lee from Anfield Road, and Jackie, Philip Page, and Danny from South Line, Southern Line, and Leslie Gilpin, and Alan, Dragon Junction, and Andy, March West Junction, Carl from Bangotcher Junction, and all these guys that we met at York and such. Those are some of the happiest memories in our lives, and they would have never happened if it weren't for the social media and model trains. There were drop crocs in Australia in the distant past. Ah, interesting. Goes with the Ninja Crocs. And we're still debating. Are we debating who the biggest train nut is? No matter who you put up as the biggest train nut, there's somebody bigger. But the minute you bring up a channel and go, this guy's a big train nut, There will be somebody that's a hater on that channel. Because we all have, no matter how big or small your channel is, we have our haters. We have the people that they don't like us. I lost a lot of German followers when I stopped doing the Märklin Outsider series and went to the format I now have, and don't work on my layout a lot, because the Germans like, why are you not still working on the layout? Why are you should have had this static grass in, you know, and don't put that 4mm static grass. You only need 2mm in here, and blah blah blah. You know, they want a serious channel, and I'm not serious. So a lot of the older German channels that I was friends with, they just disappeared, stopped commenting on videos, or left negative comments on videos. If you go to Australia, you're not standing on a tree. Chris, I don't know where you can go in Australia stand without something that's going to kill you. Because if it isn't the wildlife, it's the Australians. Oh, well, that's Miniature Wonderland. Brian, that's Miniature Wonderland. That's Knuffingen Airport at Miniature Wonderland. But it's actually Hamburg Airport, but they call it Knuffingen. I have been to Miniature Wonderland 7 times. I was there 2 years after it opened, and then I've been there every trip to Germany. Not every trip to Germany. I went in 2003. That was 2 years after they opened. And then 2004, 2006, and then 17, 19, 23, and 25. See, Aaron, I'm a little, I will say I'm different. I don't even want constructive criticism or constructive ideas unless I ask for them. That's why I don't give people suggestions. Even when they ask for suggested video, can anybody help me with this? I might have an idea. My problem is I am not standing in that room looking at everything you're seeing, and I'm not in your head to know what things you would like or not like. So I'm very persnickety. I don't like uninvited suggestions. That probably sounds absolutely dicky, but I don't. I'm very much, I'll sort this out myself, or I will leave it until I come back to it. Yeah, I failed mind reading class. It's the only class I ever failed, but I failed that one. But yeah, it's very tough. If I'm standing in the room with you, I might see, like, I've got a daughter that she can look at my layout and look at the track algorithms and geometry and that, not say, I'm thinking of doing this here. She could look at it right away and go, nope, it won't fit, Dad. Her spatial compartmentalization skills are spooky. She can look at a space, and she gets it from her dad, because I can usually do that too, but she has it even sharper than I do. You know, I've loaded up trucks, and Joyce will be, that's not going to fit, that's not going to fit. And I'm like, wait, I can make it fit. And boom, boom, boom. She'll go, how did you get that all in there? Because I can do this. But my daughter can do that, but she can look at two-dimensional objects and plan it out in 3 dimensions and go, this would never work there, that wouldn't work there. If only I could get her into model trains, she could have helped me with some things. But yeah, she's spooky good at just looking at something once. This is a kid that at the age of 8, well, let me double check that. How old was she my first trip to Dream? 11. At the age of 11, She's with her mom and dad because I've taken all my students to Germany, and she went with us, all three of my kids. Well, my daughter was part of the exchange, and my older daughter was part of the exchange, but our two other kids came with us because we couldn't leave them home for 3 weeks by themselves. So we took them with us. And Joyce and I had a pattern that whenever we went to a town, you know, I always led to teach what I wanted them to see and do in that town, and Joyce always followed at the rear for stragglers, but also if girls had girl needs, they could talk to Joyce. So my daughter became my map person. We're in the town of Osnabrück. My first time in Osnabrück. I'm sorry, my second time in Osnabrück, because we had a guide the first time. The second time it was just me and my students and my daughter. And I hand my daughter the map and said, we're here and I'm going to go over here, but just keep the map open so I can go to it. This is before you had Google Maps. And like an hour or 2 hours later, I'm like, I think we want to go to this place down here. She's like, no, Dad, it's one road back up. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's, Dad, it's one road back up. And I didn't listen to her. And then we came back around and it was one road back up. And she's like, I told you, Dad. And I just looked at her. How did you know? She says, because I looked at the map. And then the next year, I still was forgetting where a couple of things were. And she knew exactly where they were. She didn't have to look at the map again. She remembered a year later, this one town she had been in once. She saw the map. And she knew where everything was without looking at the map again. She's spooky good with that. Yeah, I'm always scared when one of my friends sees the joy I have with my European trains and then gets into them. I mean, our old buddy Dino got into European trains, although that's kind of on the back burner as he's building his 00 scale stuff now, again. I don't know if he'll go back to it or not. Christopher is going to go into continental trains. And, of course, you just went crazy with European trains. Why do some Germany trains blow there once in a while? On my layout, I have a couple of trains that will just randomly blow their horns, but otherwise, I'm not sure I know what you're asking. My ICEs are Märklin. All my ICEs are Märklin. My two Railjets are Roco, the Czech and the Austrian, are Roco. All my ICEs, ICE 1, ICE 2, ICE 3, ICE 4, and my ICs, they're all Märklin. This train coming right here with the yellow locomotive and then the red and gray cars, that's the locomotive is Roco, and then half the cars are Roco and half the cars are Märklin. And yes, the Roco ones are true scale 187 and the Märklins are 195. So if you looked close, you'd see some cars are shorter than others. You'll get the Märklin layout going in the spring. Okay. Well, no rush, no push. You gotta go, with this hobby, you gotta go where your love and interest are. Speaking of Christopher, here's his other channel. Gaijin Nihon Densha Ai. And I probably mispronounced half of that because it's been a long time since I worked on Asian Japanese pronunciation. But that's Christopher, everybody. Same Continental Christopher, but now in his, he's got a channel for each of his hobbies. So his Japanese N-Gauge is this channel. And then he's Continental Christopher for his continental stuff he's going to be doing. So with all his channels, he's half my subscribers. Yeah, and that's it. The number one rule. You know, we all say rule one, which is it's your layout, do what you want. But that incorporates have fun. That's why you do what you like. Don't worry about what's prototypical. I have things I'm very prototypical about, but there's nowhere in Germany where you're going to have 6 trains running this close together, zigzagging like I have here, because my track allotment is not prototypical. My track allotment is I want as many trains moving as I can get moving, and
Speaking of trains,
yes. This was a silly buy, but speaking of silly buys, I have to talk to you about something bad. Well, it could be good, but you'll probably think it's bad. I haven't bought anything yet. I got a bad email. Yes, a bad email.
we want this.
Yes. Okay. Now I'll put you under pressure on it when I've got all my friends support me. Okay, I got this for $10. I bought this for $10. Only because I had no other way of getting some. I'm tired of trying to explain the difference. So here it is visually. So before I put you on cam, dear, I'm going to go on this cam. All right. Here is Märklin K-Track. This is Märklin K-Track. Whoops, how about I get it on the camera? This is the normal looking K-Track. In Märklin today, you can do C-Track or you can do K-Track. So this is the standard, but this is 3-rail. The way it's done is they have a special little metal thing on the back that is isolated from the upper rails. And that metal plate, I don't know how well you can see it, it might shine. There you might see it. So they have a little bit of a the plastic studs separate the third rail metal, which is on the back and leads to the nubs here, from the negative 2 rails. So your hot is down the middle, which is this metal plate on the back, and then your negative rails here are separated by the plastic sleepers. So that's how they do 3-rail that way. But again, the idea with the nubs is that it's less obtrusive than like Lionel's full 3-rail, and of course everybody else that does full 3-rail like that. So there you go. All right, I know you guys are all waiting for me to get Joyce on camera. Birds. Da 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 da. Are you on camera?
And I need the mic.
Hang on.
It's all right.
Impatience, impatience.
You can find a baby.
There we go. Ta-da. All right, now you can start talking to people.
Right. Okay.
There you go. Talk away, dear.
Talk away. Okay, first of all, hello everybody. And
Hello.
so hi,
Hello.
Tom. Hi Tom. Hi
So I'll use these.
Andrew March West.
I'll use
Hi,
these tracks as displays.
Andy, Hot Dog Pilot. Hi Dan. Hi Raymond. Hi Kieran. Hi Tom Houston. Hi Mick. Wait. Hi Digger. And I lost my place. Hi there, Artie. Hi, Great Northern. That's Greg. Hi there, Smallwood. That is Paul, right?
Paul and Paris.
Paul and Paris. Yeah, hi, Paul and Paris. Sorry, guys. I've had a busy day. Kambawa.
That's
Gajin. Christopher, yep. Hi, Valley, Chris. Hi, Donegal Dad. Hi, Aaronville. Well, it's a day before a break, so insanely crazy. Okay, hi there, Dino.
Dino!
Yeah. Hi, Chuck. Hi,
Chuck.
Josh. John. Hi, Lego Man. Okay, and hopefully I got everybody. And again, if I missed you, I heartily apologize.
You hardly or heartily?
Heartily
Oh, okay,
apologize.
good. I didn't hear the third syllable in there.
Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, wow, that sounds a little cold-hearted.
Again, I have been running, so, yeah, we got our tickets for the show. It is on a Friday, unfortunately, for you. Oh, turn you on while we're waiting on my
Figures.
phone. Yeah, I know, sorry. It's December 5th.
So, 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today.
Well, wait a minute. December
60 bucks.
5th won't be 2 weeks from today.
So I
will it?
had my
Yeah, it will be.
winnings from last week. I paid off my winnings. Yes, next Thursday is the American Thanksgiving.
The American Thanksgiving.
American
the Canadians were
Thanksgiving.
smart. They had theirs a few weeks ago
Yeah,
and
I
got
know.
it out of the way.
Got it out of the way. So, 3 days in your train room. That's good. So we have, for a long time in our career, we were off Thursday and Friday. So the day of Thanksgiving and the day after.
Which made it hard getting ready.
It sure did, because that's when I was doing
Because
the
also at those times we
huge
were
group.
hosting your family, so we'd have up to 36
Yeah,
people
wait
here.
a minute. Yeah, we'd have a huge group, but I always managed it all right.
Yes,
and,
she did.
Yeah, I've got it down to a science, So, I'll shop this weekend and get the rest of the stuff. I got the non-perishable stuff last week. So, anyway, then a couple years ago, there's always a rumor. They're going to give us a full week off. They're going to give us a full week off. Well, eventually, they did. So I think we're on the third year of having the entire week off. And, oh, that's wonderful. The only real day I've had off since school got going was the day after conferences. That hardly counts because you're so tired after 2 12-hour days. So, the show I'm going to is called Bored Teachers. They are a comedy group. It's all about schools and teaching and the ridiculous of their all. So they are a funny group because I see a lot of their skits on Facebook and things like that. So they're a lot of fun. So I'm going with the 5th grade teachers, and
She's been
One
married
of
to
their
me for almost
friends-
40 years, and she says they're funny teachers.
well, you're a funny teacher too, but
Well,
It's a-
see,
it's a
you
comed-
don't need to pay to go see funny
it's a
teachers
comedian group.
when
It's a
you're
comedy
married to
group.
one and you get it for free, and you get everything for free. No, that's not true.
Well,
There's
it's
usually a
Thursday.
price.
We are still off the Friday and the weekend, so we have really 3 days to digest all that food.
You got 9 days.
So we'll be fine. So yeah, it's 9 days off,
Yeah, you
counting the
got
weekends.
this Saturday, Sunday, and then a whole
Right.
week.
I don't know if tonight you want to go out and start looking for fans and just grab dinner on the way.
If you want to, we can.
Yeah, let's get it out of the way. Now
We
you're
just got to
paid.
decide where we're going to go.
Yeah, I know.
Coles
I
was a
mean, Kohl's-
letdown.
Well, they had some things there.
Yeah, but nothing that was like definitive yes.
I'll Google it.
I don't know, Lion Store or Dillard's or whatever. Hey, did I see Sir Pete and Dame Sue in the background
Hi, Pete, Sue.
are here?
Oh, I understand, Greg. It can be a bit much, although I
Oh,
think
Jean
this is
Ricard
fine,
woke up to
Scotty.
throw a temper tantrum.
What's the problem, John?
He's whining because I showed the K-track before I let you get on camera.
Oh, no worries. I
Those
was
tiny
all right.
little hormones.
Gave me
you know.
a few minutes. We have just the cat who's outside now.
Oh.
One time we had
No, we are
Bud, we had
done
budgies.
with pets. We are done with pets.
we had budgies. We had
We have fish,
guinea
but the fish aren't
pigs.
going to mess up
I
my...
do have fish. Yeah, I have a fish now. We had a cat for a long time and a dog for a long time. And we got these 2 rotten cats and kicked them out. This place.
We had 2 cats here for 5 years, and they were just destructive and as mean and antisocial. They were rescue cats, and they had lived too long feral, and they just would never acclimate with the
What do we
family.
have?
What?
What do we have? Lost the word.
Induction?
Thank you.
Yeah, Greg from
Yeah.
Australia, he wrote me an email today. He was saying that they were looking at getting induction because Heather wanted one, but it was $10,000. I was like, well, we saw some at that price range, but that's not what we were paying. When you pay $10,000 for an oven, That's because you want to say, I paid $10,000 for that. I didn't need to, but I could do it.
Says Appliance Center, but it's closing soon.
Appliance Center closes. Appliance Center doesn't sell. They
Oh.
sell induction ovens, but they don't sell pots and pans.
Yeah, they're going for cooktops here. You did not understand my question.
Indeed. Induction cookware. Yes. For some reason, I keep calling her Kathleen, and I feel really bad about it, but I think I finally got in my head Heather. Because Kathleen was the wife of somebody else we met in Australia. Heather is a very wonderful person and a great baker.
Yeah, I didn't put it right.
But for some dumb reason, I kept calling her Kathleen. And I don't know why. John Ricard must be really sleepy. He didn't even give me grief back after
J.C. Penney's
J.C. Penney.
is saying they have some stuff.
Okay, well, we can go to J.C.
I
Penney.
don't know if I believe it, though.
You rolls the dice, you take your chances.
It's Amazon.
No, we're not buying from Amazon.
The
We've already
Bakers.
bought 2 kits, and out of 2 kits, we got 5 pots and pans we can use. Because they have to be exact size. And that's what drives me crazy is you type in exact size on Amazon, and then they give you everything but the exact size.
The Baker's Kitchen closes at 7. It's on Monclova, Mommy.
Wait, isn't Baker's Kitchen the one on Monclova?
Yeah,
Well, we can get out of the live stream and run.
it closes at 7.
Well, I end the live stream at 6. If you were ready to go at 6, we could be there by
Pretty much
6:20.
Ready to go.
Okay, well then there it is.
Yeah, okay, so that's, yeah.
Well, I'll use this for
Oh, is
display.
that road closed? You have to go around it.
Well, only if that road is closed.
It has been.
I thought it was closed the other way. We went down Monclova.
Yeah, and then we
And it was
turned
closed
around
at the
because
other
we
way.
couldn't get there. But it's on the other side of it.
All right, maybe we won't go there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little harder.
So somebody calls. She's Joyce, not Janice. But that's okay, since
Yeah.
I call. Somebody should call me by the
Why
wrong
didn't I
name.
answer?
You're
yeah,
Joyce?
Andy, try Joyce.
You can be called Joy.
Hi, Clintonville. Yeah, you can be called
That's
Joy.
Brian. The one you
Brian.
hate. The one you hate.
You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know how these things are.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm a tire teacher, but I still have the gumption to go do things.
And you saw with that swing, she doesn't have that much gumption. I still got the gumption.
So
to
I
go.
suppose we could just go tomorrow.
Yeah, let's get
You
it
wanna
over.
try it
All
there?
right, if you want to do it tomorrow, you can rest
well,
today.
I'm just saying. I gotta do my
It's
shopping.
entirely up to you.
Yeah.
I have been trapped in this house all day.
Yeah, if we
I haven't
could
been
get
trapped.
there.
I could go wherever I want. I got 2
Burkett
cars. I could go wherever I
restaurant
want.
equipment, that's closed on Glenwood.
Certainly, it's on Amazon. So, yeah, our problem is Amazon every now and then delivers to either an address that's the same as ours,
Where
but
as
one
I
street
can
over,
tell,
and they
that
do
is-
both begin with B. It's Beverly and Beachway, and so 3621 Beverly will occasionally get our packages, and we occasionally get mail for 3621 Beverly. So now you can all get our address. It's not like it isn't hard to find anyhow. Yeah, Ohio State plays at noon tomorrow, so bear that in
Okay,
mind.
yeah. Well, we can get up a little earlier.
They're playing the Scarlet Knights of
I was
Rutgers.
gonna get my walk in, but we can just go and I'll get a walk in later.
You can do your walk first thing in the morning, or
Oh, no worries. Yeah, typically, but it's okay.
all right. The gremlin bug
Yeah?
was pretty much non-existent today.
Super. knock
We
on wood.
had the Austrian EC
That's
uncoupled
frustrating.
here once, and then I put it back together, and then it re-uncoupled right away. But I just turned the car around, and now...
Ah, it's doing fine.
And
That's great.
now it ran great with Cayenne on Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay, good.
So why it suddenly uncoupled there, I don't know. But on the flip side, I changed all those couplers on Monday. Because it had
Okay.
those
yeah.
Fleischmann weird couplers I don't
Right.
like. Actually, they're great couplers, and they're easy for uncoupling. But the one little tongue on them warps and bends, and then they don't couple anymore.
What fish do I have? I have a honey gourami. No. Yes.
I think golden. Is it a golden or a honey?
I think she's honey.
It's a honey.
It's a
gourami.
honey. It's a
And
honey
then you
gourami.
have some loaches and
Yeah, I have loaches, which I enjoy. I have a lot of guppies.
a lot of guppies
Apparently, more than I want.
because they keep breeding. Guppies
And,
are
Yeah, they sure are.
frisky little bastards.
What else is in the big tank? Those little green guys that are cute. And there's another one in there.
Yeah, I forget what you have too.
Yeah, I forget. Anyway, fish.
Yeah, a couple of
Just
different
camping
types of
with the-
tetras.
Yeah, I think they're tetras.
You have a couple of different types of tetras.
There's a one.
You have scampi in the freezer. I don't think that's good for fish. It's good for eating, but not good for the fish themselves.
Dan's fish. Hair to a limia.
What's
Oh,
that?
I want to order fish online. How big does the limia get?
You had an aquarium ship in Copenhagen. Cool. I loved Copenhagen. Copenhagen was beautiful.
Yeah, it was very
We had a
cool
good time in Copenhagen.
Mhm.
I doubt we'll ever go back to Copenhagen. It's a sprawled out city. It is sprawled
Yeah,
out.
Google.
But we had a good time with Jean Ricard and Simon from SJ Train World.
Yeah, that's a
We had a
thought.
beautiful time in Copenhagen. Saw all the main palaces. We had some time where we walked on our own and walked around part of the town. The only thing is we didn't go into the Tivoli. We walked around it, but we didn't go in. Because you had to pay to go in. And since we weren't really going to ride any of the rides, I didn't see why pay. Two good train shops there. I did not go to any of the train shops when I was in Copenhagen. I went to Hobby Caden in Aalborg, but I did not go to any. We had such a busy schedule when we were in Copenhagen. We didn't make it to. We didn't even think to look for train shops. We did a whirlwind tour. We were in Copenhagen 2.5 days.
They look a lot like guppies. Takes longer than most. The babies are bigger than normal.
Actually,
they don't eat them.
I don't know.
Crazy looking as an adult male. Huh.
Limias.
Let's see if our local shop has them.
Yeah, we can see if he has them or can get them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard of Tog Center, but not the other one. But we did not, yeah, sadly we did not go. But I will say Hobby Caden was awesome. Dan Rose, I think that's his name. No, he was Ken Rose. Ken, not Dan. He was Ken.
Ooh, that didn't work at all.
He just had a very non-expected Danish name. Was just a really nice man. Just a brilliant, nice man.
Ooh, sharks with lasers in your hollowed out volcano. That's cool. You met Rod Stewart in a
Yeah.
train shop? Yeah.
Well, wait, Lego Man, are you friends with Simon from SJ Train World, or is that Simon? Because that's not Simon's normal logo.
Yeah.
Simon Jensen? Because were you Simon's friend and you were at the shop? Because Simon shared the picture with him with Rod Stewart. Norway is on our list.
Yeah.
The
it
problem
does.
is we don't know when.
Right.
We would like to do an extended Scandinavian tour, but right now it's the UK. The UK in this coming June, 7 months away, and then the next year is expected to be Australia. With some time in Hawaii because Joyce wants to go to Hawaii
You didn't
now.
take any photos with Rod. Ah, okay. Just remembering the experience.
Yeah, because Simon was in the shop at Copenhagen when Rod Stewart came in and got his picture with him.
Right.
Because I guess he's friends with the shop, so I don't know if it was that shop and you were there at the same time. You didn't take any photos with Rod.
Yeah.
And then, what was it? But yeah, Dan Rose was just a really nice guy. Ken Rose. God, see, now I got that wrong name going again. Ken Rose at Hobbycade. Really nice guy, great shop.
Training the wildlife up north to go on vacation, Anthony.
What's that?
They take 2 tourists with them this last month so far.
Who what?
Artie, we're training the wildlife up north to go on vacation. Boy, it's hard work. They've taken 2 tourists with them this last month so far.
Ah, great.
That's not going to encourage them.
You know, the more stories you tell, the more I go, maybe I'm not going back to Australia.
It's maybe back in June when things aren't as active.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. He was more proud of his the article about him in Model Railroad magazine than his music awards.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Well, he does because he buys stuff and he works on it in
Yeah,
his
very
hotel
expensive.
rooms
Yeah.
when he's on tour.
Well, yeah. I don't think we'd stay for long, you know, just a quick dip in.
For what?
He says it's expensive in Norway. With their deep pockets. I said, yeah, well, do what we do.
We know
Won't
how
stay
to
long.
do cheap. We know how to do cheap.
Did we
Even
try
in Norway, you
Vegemite?
can do cheap. We've done cheap in Switzerland, so
You try Vegemite? You tried Vegemite here because I already brought some back. With
I
them.
tried it there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird taste, but you know, to some Americans, I'm sure they go like, "Oh my God," you know, and people say it's acquired taste, but I'll taste it and go, good, edible, hell no, and it was in the edible department. Ken Rosa, the owner of Hobbycade in Aalborg. Yep.
Yep.
Is it Rosa? I thought he spelled it R-O-S-E, not R-O-S-A. But I mean, it would still probably be pronounced Rosa.
Acrid spread. Yeah, I wasn't brave enough.
But yeah, so 2027 is Australia. My problem is I always need to go back to Germany. And the 3 years in between, like it was 2 years between 2023 and 2025. And when we got back to Germany this year, it just felt too long. Because I had gone to Germany every year for so long. And I don't need to go to the tropics. I don't need to go to Asia. I don't need to go to Egypt or Greece or all these other beautiful places. There are too many places in Germany, Austria, Norway, Sweden, Finland. I want to get to the UK. There are other places I want to get to me that are more important. Joyce wants to stop at Hawaii on the way down to Australia and spend a few days in Hawaii before we continue on to Australia.
Right up. I was trying to do Fiji on the way back, and he said no.
And I'm just sort of like, I don't need to go to Hawaii. Well, it's an acquired taste, and you either like it or you don't. You know, it's one of those things. I didn't dislike it, but it's not something I was going to run out and buy again.
Cherry ripe bars. Wow. And you like them. Yikes.
Yeah, Marmite and Vegemite are different. Yeah, Rod Stewart's layout is amazing.
See the BB.
You worked in Tog Center for a short while, but now you're on pension. More time to play.
Sure.
Yeah, we could talk forever about food, but like Joyce and I, we go to the grocery store and we buy bread, sliced meat, sliced cheese, and we're good. And when we're in Germany, we get the $3.50 bratwurst here and there, and then occasionally go to a restaurant and get a schnitzel or a cheap pasta, inexpensive pasta. I like gorgonzola, like penna gorgonzola.
Yeah, I remember. Save your pennies. The sand is better, bigger, and beach is bigger, indeed. We tried Vegemite, but you don't want to try the very Danish dish of pickled herring. It's got too many strikes against it.
Yeah,
John.
pickled herring. Vegemite's
You
just a
know,
little
it's-
spread.
yeah,
Pickled herring
compared to
is
fish.
it's fish, which
And
I
you
already don't
pickle
like,
it.
and then you pickled it, which I really don't like.
Yeah. So yeah, I was kind of sorry.
Jean, there's a reason Denmark's population doesn't grow very quickly. You all eat pickled herring. Nobody wants to smell each other's breath.
Yeah, we'll do my daisy. If you haven't hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen, please hit the like button.
Oh, that was a daisy, all right. That was Daisy.
Oh, good. Ready to do her again.
Oh my. Oh my, Miss Cockett.
Yeah. Too fishy, indeed. And pickled, yeah.
Yeah, it's big in the Jewish community too, but no,
Yeah.
I don't like fish. I don't like seafood. The only time I like fish is when it's a very basic white fish that's been deep fried, like on a McDonald's sandwich, or like British fish and chips. What did we decide? We're gonna wait till tomorrow?
Yeah, let's just go out tomorrow morning.
All right, we'll get up in the morning and go.
We'll get some donuts over there.
Can't beat a kipper with butter. Yes, you can. I can think of about 20,000 things off the top of my head that would beat a kipper with butter.
With smørrebrød? How did you say that?
Gefilte fish. That's a stereotypical Jewish thing, although it's not just a stuffed fish, gefilte.
Well, it'd have to be Daisy and Silas.
It would be a descendant of Daisy and
yeah,
Silas.
don't kick out Silas there. He does want an heir,
He does want an heir.
so I gotta work on that.
Because, see, 2 years ago, that was one of the... You remember, I talked about that, like, would it be funny to have all three of the main women pregnant at the same time?
You didn't
And we've...
quite.
Well, we've spread it out.
You did, yeah. It was a year.
They had their kid for season 2, and then season 3 was the twins. And nobody's having kids in season 4. Season 5 and 6, that's still for debate.
You gotta get at 4.
What's that?
You gotta get at season 4.
Yeah, I know.
I know. I'll help you. Talk about it.
Well, it's
Smart calendar.
only, part of the problem is I just have this one scene. If I can get through this one scene, everything else is ready to go.
I don't know. Why don't you write past that scene and then see how you could bridge it between them?
Because it's still... The other stuff basically is kind of written.
Okay.
I have the beginning. The thing is, I want something to
Yeah,
happen in the
that
scene.
would
Right now,
happen,
the
Artie.
scene's just a lot of...
Well, maybe
And
you just
it
have
might
to do
just
it
have
that
to
way.
be that way. But
Yeah.
But like I'm trying to figure out how to do it, whether to do it all and make it just. I might just make it one 20-minute scene
Yeah, why
because all
not?
the others are 10 minutes.
Yeah, just
And
don't
then I
let-
can just throw a lot of this stuff in because I want a scene with Smokey and Goliath. And I'm just trying to figure out how to post it all, put it all together. I like what I've got written. It's just, where's the action? Where's something funny going to happen? But the big thing, which you already know about, is the scene after this.
Right.
But I'm also trying to figure out exactly how I want that to happen.
Sure.
I think I might play with the Irish, Italian, Russian revolutionaries joke.
Oh, all right, Lego Man. Thanks for coming in, dude.
Well, thank you for spending your time. We're actually getting ready to start shutting it down here because it is about that time.
What's for dinner tonight? We haven't gotten that far.
We haven't even gotten that far because she was just talking about going out to eat, which we could still do. But going to look for pots and pans. But the more she sits down, I think the more she's thinking, do I really want to go out?
Yeah, answer's probably no, but I'd make myself.
Oh, but you had plenty of gumption to go.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm sitting here.
Exactly.
I hadn't sat down, I'd be fine.
There you go. Yeah, that's you. The problem is usually you sit down, you start going, oh boy, I gotta do something, I gotta do something, I gotta do
But
something.
when it's the end of the week, I'm
Why
all
am I
worn
sitting? Why
out.
am I sitting? Yeah. You're getting old, dear.
I am getting old.
Getting old.
Woo!
The big 6-0 is just a few months away.
Indeed.
Anyhow, so I think that's everybody shut down
Just
for
do
now.
Totino's if you want.
Yeah, we could do that if that's what. Okay. There we go. Ba-ding. Oh, you're on the big camera over
Did
here
I
now,
have
dear.
a favorite train in Greg's collection? No, I did not have a favorite train in Greg's collection.
In Greg's collection? Do they mean in my collection?
Because we saw Greg's, but you know they were.
I think Josh is referring.
They were Australian trains, which I don't know real well, so. hard to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. Already. Do you mean my collection? Do you have a favorite train in my collection?
No.
No.
I
Don't
like
ask
the
Joyce for favorites. Joyce hates being asked favorites. Hell, she hates it so bad that if you ask her favorite husband, she gets mad.
I do not. You're silly.
Who's your favorite husband?
You.
Wait, there's another? All right, anyhow, it is 6 o'clock. We got to end the show.
Yeah.
Want to thank you all for coming and hanging with us this
For
full
sure.
time. We
Yep.
appreciate it. Hopefully, I will get back to Matt Clark and get the rest of this series going.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens this weekend. So on that note, again, take care of yourselves out there. And again,
Right.
keep Nissy J in your thoughts. Because I only found out about it last week after my live stream. She's been off YouTube for a couple of years, but but she's very sick and
Oh, dear.
all kinds of things are going to go on. So until next time, until next Friday,
Yeah.
same bat time, same bat channel. We're going to say, Auf Wiedersehen!
Cheers.
And happy trains.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.